Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Treble Clef Project's guest interview series. Today I'm joined with another very talented special guest, and he's going to introduce himself and tell us what performance arts related activity he's involved in.
Everyone. My name is Akhil, and I'm a dancer and a dance teacher. So yeah, those are, and I also on the side I also work on mixing and creating music as well.
Awesome. When and why did you start dancing?
Um, I started dancing when I was like I think 3 years old. I think when I was younger, my parents would just put on music, and I've seen some very embarrassing videos, but I would just like walk around the house clapping along. And so I guess as soon as I was old enough to take any sort of dance class, my parents just enrolled me, and it just sort of stuck. Like I really took to it, I think, at that age. So yeah, from there, I guess the rest is history. And now it's been 14 years, and I'm still doing it.
What dance styles do you perform?
So I'm a part of a Bollywood dance company, which is, I guess we do Bollywood dance, but that encompasses like a pretty wide range of styles. So I end up training in like hip hop, jazz, contemporary, and all sorts of Indian dance styles. And I also trained in ODC, which is a Indian classical form, for about 12 years. I'm not currently taking classes in that style, but I have a lot of training and experience doing that as well.
What inspires you to dance, and also what inspiration do you get from dance?
Um, I think a lot. Dance is my main like source of exercise. That's one thing that inspires me and forces me to dance all the time, because obviously it's important to stay active. But I think on the like more, I guess on the more creative side, as a teacher and choreographer, I think definitely just music is very like inspires me. Like I'll hear songs that I just like, I don't know, I can visualize them and stuff. And I think that's really inspires me to create choreography and create pieces and work them out myself. I think also seeing dance and other arts online and in person as well is super inspiring. Seeing dancers that, you know, I can relate to, or I can take things from, in addition to like, I would like other arts like music, even like visual arts. I think you can take a lot of inspiration from those and like conceptually, I don't know, work pieces and dance from those.
What is something that you've learned from dance that you still carry with you today?
Um, I think dance is, even though we don't necessarily think of it as a sport, I think it's as much or more of a team sport as anything else, especially being in a dance group. Um, it's like almost like you're like one being. Like it's not even, you're not even separate people anymore once you're on stage. It's just one like entity. And I think that level of like collaboration and just like being so attuned to your surroundings, I think that's something that's can be carried into everything. The ability to adapt very quickly. Things go wrong all the time, and you have to play them off to the audience as if nothing happened, and you know, still give them the best show. I think as a teacher, I've learned a lot of just how to deal with people. You get all sorts of different types of students, and I think just working with them, communicating, and then more personally, I think dance is definitely like my creativity and just like my ability to like, I guess, think about expressing different ideas, and thinking about different ideas. I think dance has really been an outlet for that, but that's been very applicable. Like the things that I think about in choreographing or conceptualizing pieces like that can be transferred into academics, like writing or like talking about, you know, different topics, I think. Yeah.
How has the pandemic affected your involvement in dance and the way you perform?
Um, So right now, yeah, it's I think a lot of the things that we look forward to as dancers, like performances and just classes, sharing the studio with other people, and sharing that energy. Obviously, we don't have that. I've been teaching online classes since the start of the pandemic, and I'm going to be starting to teach some like socially distanced outdoor masked classes soon, actually this weekend. But it definitely is a bit of a hindrance, just because the things that you look forward to, like the sharing of energy between dancers and the audience, that's completely gone. The audience aspect, the performance aspect is mostly gone. Um, I I'm not always the person who loves like working on videos. I really like live performances, but I think the pandemic has forced me to like work more on video projects because with those, like it's so much safer, right? Like only a couple people might be seeing each other, and it can just be put online and reach an audience. I do definitely miss the live performances, and I do miss the element of teaching in person because while Zoom teaching, I'm glad that we have platforms in which we can teach and stuff. It's definitely very different, and I think just engaging with students and having that connection is so difficult online.
What is the most memorable experience you've had dancing?
Very hard one. I mean, there's so many great experiences that I've had. I think um, one really great one last year I was the first time that I just choreographed a piece for like our company group. So in my dance company, not to like bore any of you with specifics, but like there's obviously like different levels of dance classes, and so I usually teach like regular classes, but last year I had the opportunity to work with one of the like professional company like audition level groups and choreograph a piece for them, and I think that was just it was incredibly hard, but I think that was just a super great process and a really great experience for me, just pushing like my creativity and then thinking, through all of the aspects of like a live show, and really just being sort of like in the behind the scenes aspect of that, like not just the dance, but also like props and like, the way that people move and like the logistics of how a piece works on stage, like lighting, costumes, like all of that stuff. I think that's just something that I wasn't as exposed to in depth before. So I think having that experience and choreographing at such a high level it was really tough, but I think it was really rewarding for me.
So I know you mentioned earlier that you mix music, and I've heard some of your mashups on TikTok, and they're really good. So I just want to know more about your experience and how you got started with that.
Um, I think I definitely like started mixing well after I was dancing, but I think dance and music are like intrinsically linked, and so as I learned to dance, I definitely developed a greater appreciation for music and sort of like an ear for it, because when you have to move to certain things, you can kind of understand like the melody and the rhythm and stuff like that. I also played and learned music, like I played drums and percussion, and I learned like theory and all that stuff like when I was younger. And so I think that musical knowledge combined with sort of just like my like enjoyment of music, especially like being like biracial, being like Indian and white, I think that like identity like exposed me to so much music from different cultures, like obviously like Bollywood music, and I'm Tamil, so like Tamil music, and in like English music and Western music, and trying to like, I think just when I listen to music, I just hear things, and the natural next step was like when I hear, oh, like these would sound good together, like let me try to work that out. Obviously, it was really rough at first. There's some terrible mixes that I have from like 5 years ago that no one is ever going to want to hear, but I think from there, just like as I've kept doing it, it's become sort of like more of in like a really enjoyable thing for me. Just when I hear things that I think would sound good together, it's just fun to do that. It definitely comes back to dance. Like now I make mixes and custom mixes for like my pieces and my classes, which is gives me sort of a greater deal of freedom than choreographers who might be dependent on composers or other people to give them music, whereas I can kind of like mix for dance. So like I can almost think of the piece like, okay, I want this formation or this like visual to happen, and so then like how does that sound like in my head, and then I can make that. And I think that has been like a real asset to me in the creative process, just because I have like full control over the musical aspect as well.
Why do you think dance is important, and why should it be encouraged in youth?
I think dance is really special because it's both a physical activity and like an exercise in creativity and like a mental activity. And I think, well, a lot of sports, I guess you could argue, are too. There's something about dance that like I feel like it's very like, I don't know, whole body, whole mind. I'm not sure how to what to like it encompasses everything. And so I think that's why it's been like so important to me, and it's been sort of like my one extracurricular. Like I don't have like I mean, I have academic extracurriculars, but I haven't had like through my entire life an academic thing and like an athletic thing. Like it's just been dance, which is where like it's both my creative outlet and my workout and like my time to socialize and my time to learn leadership, and like it's everything in one. And I think that is something that makes it like really special. And it's, yeah, that's why I think especially it should be encouraged. But yeah, there's so many reasons.
My last question for you is, what advice do you have for aspiring young dancers?
I think the biggest thing that helped me, honestly, was just to take lots of classes. The more people you can learn from and the more things that you can learn, the better you're going to be as a dancer. At least for me, like, I think I found that there was a certain learning curve. Like, there was just a period of time when I just like feel like I improved so much just because I was dancing all the time. I was taking so many classes, like watching dance, learning dance, like on YouTube, just seeing all sorts of dance, going to shows, all sorts of stuff. And I think just like that exposure to lots of different people and lots of different styles is really what helps you. Then you build up like a movement vocabulary, which makes choreography easier, and you're going to be used to taking classes from different people, so you'll be more versatile as a dancer. And I think that that just like by dancing all the time and dancing in different ways is really helpful. Obviously, like for me, having trained in so many styles, like versatility is something that I really care about and strive for. For people who might be wanting to focus on one style, I think um, maybe if you don't necessarily want to be as versatile, that's totally fine. But I just think like um, just dancing a lot, like the more you dance, like it seems kind of obvious, but like just by dancing so much, you're just going to improve so much. I think also like when I was younger, I would not like my choreography was any good, but I would play music and sort of like think of like, you know, steps and stuff. And I think that sort of helps me now. Like I still can remember like pieces that I quote unquote conceptualized very badly when I was really young, but I was like, oh, that would be cool. And now like they still like actually help me now, you know, think of ideas for my own classes and like for my stuff on stage. And so I think freestyling and just like sort of thinking of ideas, brainstorming ideas for dances, and even if you're not creating a piece for anyone, just create like solos for yourself, create pieces for yourself, think of stuff like that. And I think that's a really good way to just like get your creativity out there, especially in regards to dance, because I feel like there is like when you get started in choreography, just like a certain mental like barrier to get over. It feels really intimidating. Very honestly, like it's really scary to suddenly have to like create 3 minutes of movement on like 30 people. So I think just like choreographing and freestyling, like where that's where you and taking classes again, these are places just like to build up your vocabulary of movement to help you with that.
Well, thank you so much, Akhil, for being here and for sharing your knowledge and experiences with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's all for the video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on Wednesday for another video. Bye, everyone.